A 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1977, I remember it very well, and of course this is a piano-based song, but we can render it very easily into something that works very nicely for the guitar, especially if we put a capo up here on the 3rd fret. This song is originally recorded in the key of F, which isn't great for the guitar, but with the capo here we can play as if we're in D. Additionally, I've got the 6th string tuned down to a D, so I'm in drop D tuning, and I've got a nice fat 6th string key chord there as a D. The issue I've got is that it's way too high for me. Now, if you've watched many of my videos, you'll know I'm a bit of a stickler for original keys, but you'll have to cut me a bit of slack here because nobody knows. No one wants to hear that. So what I'm going to do is take the capo off. I'll talk you through the tuning. We'll look at all the chords. We'll do the whole thing, including that little picked intro that I've got that's kind of a transcription of the original piano part and all the other details. And then when it's time to go for a playthrough, I'll put the capo back on and we will play this then in the original key. Okay, let's get on with it. So the capo's off and we're in drop D tuning. This simply means that we drop the 6th string down to D, the equivalent of 2 frets lower than normal. That's going to give us some really lovely finger picking opportunities there, letting those open strings ring out. The 6th and 4th strings are in octaves, and that's great for this alternating bass style of picking. We've got an 8-bar verse and an 8-bar chorus, and we actually start with the chorus. They switch between each other, chorus, verse, go into a 3rd chorus and out to an extended outro, and that's the end of the song. And for the bulk of the song, even though there's a fair bunch of kind of twists and turns, we really can just play 4 chords. We've got a G, a G minor, and a D, and then a D7. Okay, so the G I'm going to play is this. It's unrecognisable from this kind of G that you might play in standard tuning. I've got my 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the bottom string, and I could put the 1st finger on the top string. Then I've got the open 2nd, open 3rd, open 4th, and I'm just muting that 5th string, not playing that. That's getting muted with the underside of that 3rd finger. But since I'm picking, I'm probably only going to have my fingers on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings most of the time. And I want the slight bite of that D there. So I've got my 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and I'm not playing the top string. When it comes to strumming, likewise, I probably won't really play that top string. And if I do, well, it's muted then by that 1st finger. That's my G, 2 beats of that. Then the 1st finger is going to come down to the 3rd string at the 3rd fret for my G minor, and my little finger's going to go up here onto the 5th fret of the 2nd string. That's G minor with a 6. Nobody does. There's a lot of that. It's better to a D, and of course it's a nice 6th string D, and then D7. And here if I play the top string, it really doesn't matter. So all of that. Nobody does it better. And again, makes me feel sad for the rest. I still can't really sing this even though I brought it down. But that's half the chorus done. Okay, so G, G minor 6, D to D7. And then we kick off the 2nd half, the 3rd line, the same way. Nobody does it. Now we've got 2 beats each of F sharp 7 to B minor 7. So we get this. Nobody does it half as good as you. For me though, that note there on the 3rd fret of the top string at the beginning of that F sharp 7, that's worth catching in the guitar. So what I'm going to do is bar across the top 3 strings at the 3rd fret, right at the beginning of that bar, just for a beat. I've already got my 3rd finger in place on the 4th fret of that bottom string. And after the 1st beat, I'm going to bring that whole F sharp 7 shape together, and then I'm going to go for my B minor 7. You could just play F sharp 7 to B minor 7, but as much as I'm not probably going to sing this anyway, I quite like that note catching me there. So that third line, nobody does it half as good as you. Okay, now we get this. E minor 7. I've got my little finger there on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and my 2nd finger's there on the bottom string at the 2nd fret. And then I'm going to go to G over A. Just the middle 4 strings. The 5th, 4th and 3rd strings are open. I've got a finger there on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. I could play A7 sus4 by adding a finger on the 2nd fret of that 4th string as well. Later on I'll probably do that, but I might be a bit inconsistent. It amounts to very much the same thing. Baby, you're the best. And we end up on D, and that is the whole of the chorus done. So let me just screech through that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it half as good as you. Baby, you're the best. And then there's the tinkly piano intro thing that we all look at separately when we look at the picking, but that is the chorus done. Now, just in case you're at all interested in the way some of these chords work, we're in the key of D. G is chord 4, and then we've got G minor, chord 4 minor. That's a chord that's not in the key of D major. G is, it's chord 4, but we've got 4 minor. It's exactly the same as I'm not in love, so don't forget it. It's just a silly phase. Exactly the same kind of thing. As I say, it's a sort of signature move or a kind of trademark sound of ballads of a particular kind. And if you're interested, in September at City Lit, after the summer break, I am running an online class in songwriting basics, and we'll go through all this kind of stuff here. Anyway, I just thought it was worth mentioning. Also, a nice songwriting trick here is that we recycle chords from the chorus in a slightly different way. In the chorus we had G, nobody does, to G minor 6, to D, to D7. And here we just switch those 2 bars over. Now in the verse we begin with D and D7, and then we go to G minor. I wasn't looking, but somehow you found me. And again, I tried to hide from you, and then it goes off and does something else. I just thought that was worth mentioning. But because we want to get a bit more momentum here, we want to start thinking about some bass movement. We get the doom, doo, 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 all that kind of stuff, and then the drums and bass and everyone comes in the verse, and the whole thing starts to kind of bubble under a little bit. So I am going to play D, and I am going to play D7, but I'm going to play D7 with an F sharp in the bass, so we start to get this climb up to the G and G minor. And what I'm going to do here then is play my D, and I'm going to finger D7 with F sharp in the bass, D7 over F sharp this way. If it's an unfamiliar move, it might take a moment to get it under your fingers. First finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger now on the 4th fret of the bottom string, and my little fingers here on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, that's the 3rd, then the roots there on the 2nd string, that's the 7. Additionally, I've got the open 4th string for good measure, and for what it's worth, I could include the open 5th string. That's okay, it's a bit muddy, and anyway, I'll probably just take it out of circulation by muting it with the underside of that finger. But once I've got that first finger in position on the 3rd fret, I'm in great shape just to get straight onto the G chord. So, and again. Now we get something different. We get E9 and E flat 9. A few different ways of playing that. You could try this. I've got my first finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string, 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the 5th, and then my 3rd and 4th fingers are the other side of that first finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd and 3rd strings. That would give me an E9 rather, and then 2 beats later down to E flat 9. I tried to hide from your love light. It does that, but I'm going to show you another way. Instead, I'm going to play this on my E9. It's not much easier, but I quite like the sound of it. First finger, this might be familiar, first finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, 2nd finger's down here on the 2nd fret of the bottom string, and the 9 is up here, 2nd fret of the top string with my 3rd finger, and the little finger's then going to pick up that note I need on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And again, I'm muting that 5th string, I've got the open 4th string, that's fine. Now when I go to E flat 9, all I need to do is move that whole thing down a fret. I've got to be careful not to play the open 4th string when I move down to the E flat 9, but I can kind of pick the bass note and then just strum the top 3 strings. That's going to be fine. Okay, so let me just give you that from the beginning of the verse. I wasn't looking, but somehow you found me. I tried too hard from your love light. Okay, that's the first half of the verse done. Now in the second half we revert to that first line. Like heaven above me, G to G minor 6, the spy loved me. Now we've got a sequence of 4 chords, 1 beat each, so that's going to be quite challenging. It's not so tricky. We've got our F sharp 7 again. Then I've got this B7 flat 9, and I'm playing 2 1 2 1 on the middle 4 strings, E minor 7, and then either G over A. I'm probably going to play A7 sus 4 here. Don't ask me why, but I just quite like that there. To D. Okay, so we'd have like heaven above me, spy who love me is keeping all my secrets safe tonight. Going to D7 and then nobody, and we're into the following chorus. Okay, so as far as the chords are concerned, we're very nearly there. We've had the whole of the chorus and the whole of the verse. Apart from the intro, which we're going to look at separately in a moment, the song starts with the chorus, then we get verse 1, chorus again, verse 2, we go to a third chorus, and that takes us out to the outro. And what happens is this. In the 7th bar of the chorus, we go to E minor 7 as normal, but that starts a little rising passage, a little climb up, where we get this stuff going on in the bass before we reach the final 2-bar looped phrase that just goes round to fade. And we get E minor 7, which we've already seen, D7 over F sharp, we've already seen that, G, we're familiar with that, and then G over A, or A7 sus 4, up to you. I don't really know why I choose one or the other, but you know, as the mood grabs you. That takes us out into this. Baby, you're the best, you see which part this is, and all the strings and horns. Baby, you're the best, babe, da, da, da. And that takes us out to the end of the song on a long fade out. The D and D7 over F sharp are easy enough. We've got the G, of course, we've already played that. Now, the 1st and 3rd fingers, I'm just going to move those up there. So they started on the 5th and 3rd, then they're going to be on the 8th and 6th. And I'm taking the 5th string out by muting it with that 3rd finger. Additionally, I've got a finger here on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, that's my 2nd finger. Okay, that's fine, I've got 2 Ds in the middle, and I'm not playing the top string. That's going to give me quite a nice B flat chord, just for a beat. Then I'm going to come down here for C, and then it starts again. Like that. When you're playing the G chord, if you want to, of course, you can already insert that 2nd finger there for the G. It will be on the 3rd string at the 4th fret. That means you don't have to change any fingering at all to get up to the B flat. Baby, you're the best. In fact, baby, you could do that. B flat there and then C there. going to hit a bit of D, but never mind. Just gesturally, that's going to work. I quite like the C in first position though. That one is just a little bit tidier. Okay, so let me sing you the whole of the final chorus going into that outro. And for what it's worth, it's the lyrics to the first chorus repeated. Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the lost. Nobody does it half as good as you. Right, here we go. Baby, baby, darling, you're the best. Baby, you're the best. Baby, you're the best. Well, you get the idea. I'm not going to sing any more of that, but that's that done. Now, just before we look at a more general finger picking pattern that we can use throughout the song, what I want to do is to take a quick look at the arrangement I've made of the iconic piano intro. It's this. That takes us into the chorus. That's what I've got. And it begins with this lovely 6-string D chord here, the open bottom strings obviously. I'm barring across the top 3 strings with my first finger at the 7th fret, and my little finger is up on the 10th fret then of the top string. That's a beat and a half of that. Now I'm going to move my bar down to the 5th fret, and I'm going to add a finger, probably my 3rd finger, maybe my little finger, there on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Now you can pick or strum that opening chord, but now I need to pick. And that's just 2/16, and now on the 3rd beat I'm going to come here. That's a diminished chord shape, B diminished normally, and that's on 3/4/3/4. You might decide to bar that. I find it easier to use 4 separate fingers. Now I'm picking the 4th string with my thumb at the beginning of that, and at the same time I'm picking the top string. I've got my 3 picking fingers here on the top 3 strings. Top string, 2nd string, 3rd string, and back up to that top string. That whole thing just moves down a fret, and then we come down to a lovely rich 6-string D chord. You can't really go wrong with that in drop D tuning. And finally, likewise, isn't that gorgeous? That's a D9. So I'm barring the 7th fret again, but this time with my 3rd finger. 3rd finger there, comes down a fret to the 6th fret, and as it then comes down to the 5th fret, I'm adding on the 4th fret of the 4th string my 1st finger. And if I add the open bottom 2 strings, I've got that. Okay, so that's the whole of it. Additionally, to get us into the chorus, nobody does. I get this, which you can hear in the left hand of the piano, and it's 16ths, the open bottom string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and then I'm into the G. So all of that slowly. Nobody does. And up to speed. Nobody does. Okay, now let's look at some more general picking. Now the basis of the picking idea is that we're just going to move between the 6th string and the 4th string with the thumb in 8ths. 1, 2, 3, 4. I happen to be doing this on a G because, well, there's a lot of G, and we kick off the chorus this way. That's where we're going to start picking. But of course it works perfectly well for D as well. Wherever we've got chords that last for less than 2 beats, and nowhere have we got chords that last for more than 2 beats, but where we've got multiple chords in a bar that only last a single beat, I'm not going to be picking there. I mean, you'll do well to get through this picking with these different shapes that keep changing that quickly. So I'm just going to play multiple strings together and just play them once for each of those chords. But, you know, for the bulk of it, we can do this kind of thing. So let's look at this picking in detail. I've got my 2 picking fingers. I'm just using 2 fingers here. This is Travis picking really on the 2nd and 3rd string. My first finger's on the 3rd string, 2nd finger on the 2nd string. And I'm going to start by playing that bottom string and the 2nd string together. Halfway through that beat, the thumb's going to move up to the 4th string and my first finger's going to pick that 3rd string. So, and on the 2nd beat, this completes the pattern. I'm going to play in 16ths, the 6th string, 2nd string, 4th string, and 3rd string, and that's really a very standard Travis picking idea that we play what we call the outside pair followed by the inside pair. So all together. Okay. Now you can see I've repeated the pattern in the second half of this bar just because we're in 4, and I've deliberately missed out the note that begins the pattern that's on the 2nd string, just to show you there are options. So you could do that kind of thing if you wanted to, if you didn't fancy leading with that note on the 2nd string, but that's it. Nobody does it better, makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it half as good as you. That's my picking idea, and you might decide to use that sometimes, probably in the chorus. As we start to build momentum, I'm going to be strumming, and then maybe I'll come back to this picking idea from time to time. Okay, we're pretty much there, but just before we wrap this up, let's look at another couple of little details that are worth thinking about. First of all, at the end of the chorus, we get this. Baby, you're the best. And we're just sitting on a whole bar of D at this point. On the original, the piano does this. Baby, you're the best. It's exactly the same as the end of the intro figure then. So on beat 2 and, 1, 2 and, like that, we move back up with our first finger onto the 5th fret there of the top 3 strings, additionally with that note on the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and that little diminished run. And that takes us into the I wasn't looking at the time, how you found me, just into the verse. So let me just give you the last 4 bars of the chorus. Nobody does it half as good as you. Baby, you're the best. Okay, and you'll notice as I hit that E minor 7, I don't know why I've started to do this, a little slide down. It just helps with a bit of kind of dynamics there. Baby, you're the best. Now the other thing to mention is around this little chromatic climb up in the bass as we get into G. In the intro we have that. Nobody does it better. And then in the piano right hand we get plink, plink, plink in 8ths, and it's an E. It's an octave higher on the piano, but never mind. That's the 5th fret of the 2nd string, down to D on the 3rd fret, and then down to C. So it would be this kind of thing. Nobody does it better. Which feels a bit naked on its own, so let's just incorporate this on top of some chord shapes. As we go to that E, this is if you want it, I'm actually going to play D9 again, where you can see that there, first finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then my 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers are either side of it there on the 5th fret of the 5th, 3rd and 2nd strings. That hits the E. Then I'm going to revert to this. If you watch very many of my videos, you'll often see me playing this shape. D7 there. It's really just about that melody. And I'm going to bring that down to the standard D7. And what happens there, I've got that note on the 1st fret But that signals the next climb up. I'll do it slowly. Nobody does it better. Okay, at least in the first chorus I know it's pretty much always there in the piano, so that's just a little detail. I mean, you could just sit on your D7 if you want to, you don't need that. You don't even need to do that bass line kind of run-up thing, but that just kind of works quite nicely. Nobody does better. That isn't too much, that's quite nice to include that, and I think we are done. So I'm going to reach for my capo, put that back on the 3rd fret. The tuning's going to stay as it was, but we will now be back in the original key for the playthrough. You'll be very glad to know I'm playing the melody on the saxophone rather than singing it. But otherwise, thanks for watching. If you feel like buying a copy of my sheet music, you'll do us both a favour. As I always say, it'll be clearly and accurately laid out, exactly reflecting the original recording, and of course everything we've done here. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you on the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You